Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey,
And Coach Tom.
and this is Shot Science Overtime number 188.
Amazing.
So, what our live shows usually are is us talking to you guys for about an hour. And this is not a short tutorial video. If that's what you want to go see, go check those out in our library. We got a bunch of those. But this is something where we spend a little bit of time talking with you guys, maybe answering some of your questions and
Right.
talking about topics that we think are going to help make you guys better players. We got Gerald Kusar in there saying, hey, License to Chill saying, yo, Chris Morrison asking a question, Kevin Rosales saying hi. Awesome. Great that we had these super early bird people. Let's see. Mark Kinson Joseph says, you guys always do live chat. Yeah, we do. We do it every week.
Yep.
So great to see you guys here. This is our longer show. If you guys want to go check out the shorter tutorials, you can get out now and go check those out. But we're going to have a topic that we talk about at the top of the show today, something that we think is going to help you guys be better at basketball, cut out some of the learning curve, and maybe help you a little bit in growing your game.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, you guys are sending us questions, and we'll be answering those as soon as we're done with our topic.
All right.
Helps us get a couple of people in here. Yeah, it looks like we're getting people in, asking questions already. Awesome. So make sure you guys follow us on all of our social media stuff, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is. We are Shot Science in all those places. If you want to go check out shotscience.com, that's where you guys can get all the Shot Science gear, whether that's the Shot Science t-shirts, which we love to see on you guys. And if you put hashtag Team Shot Science on the stuff that you post, we see all of those and we like to feature people. So awesome to see that stuff out there. That's where you can get all the training gear like the jump box and some of the other workout gear that we sell there. That helps support Shot Science as well. So we'd love for you guys to go check that out. And also check out the all access area of the website, where that's where we take the stuff that we go into good detail here on YouTube, but there we go into super deep detail, breakdowns, demonstrations, and drills kind of to the next level. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, go check that out. Again, that also helps us be able to do all the Shot Science stuff that we do. So awesome to have you guys here. So let's get into our topic for today. So you guys keep sending us those questions, and we'll talk about our topic, then we'll get into answering those questions. Okay, so our topic for today is what?
This is about teamwork.
Yeah, we want to talk about the importance of teamwork.
Yeah. One of the things that coaches often talk about with their players is that this is a team. And one of the things that coaches have done for forever, in my lifetime anyway, in talking about team, is they use this kind of an acronym, and that is, remember, there is no I in team. And that no I in team means that it's not an individual sport. It is a team sport where each person has a contributing role in everything that we do on the court, whether it is an offensive play, an inbound play, a defense, whatever it happens to be. There is a role for everybody, and they have to complete that for us to be successful.
Yeah, because a team is kind of like a framework, and if somebody is not doing kind of their job or their role, then that all kind of breaks down.
Well, yeah, and there's another part of it that we have to take and cooperate with one another effectively. And what that means is that we can't have somebody dragging an anchor trying to pull themselves and maybe other players in another direction. And so when all five of the players that happen to be on the floor at one time, they need to be cohesively, working together to make sure that the team is going to be successful, either on the offensive end of the floor or the defensive end of the floor. It really doesn't make much difference.
Yeah, and you always want to be playing 5-on-5, not 1-on-5.
Yeah.
And that's, when people start trying to take things into their own hands, or if everybody else checks out, that's not a good approach to have when it comes to working as a team.
And oftentimes we have players who are only interested in themselves, and oftentimes they will do what is called leaking out. Leaking out is one of the players who can see the flow of what's happening and see maybe a shot coming, and they're already starting to release up the floor to the other end of the floor so they can get a quick basket. I don't think that's necessarily bad. A technique in basketball, but it's not one that's really efficient and team worthy for most part. Now, you see teams like the Warriors are really successful by having players who do leak out and they look down the floor to get them the basketball. but those are professionals. I think when we're talking about less skilled clubs and maybe less big clubs, that probably we want to take and keep everything in a very controlled situation for us to be effective.
Well, I mean, that comes down to the strategy of the team, too.
Yeah.
You have to fit in with the strategy of the team. Okay, so what's the next one?
The next thing that we want to kind of talk about there is the fact that teamwork is usually the result of really good communication.
Yep.
And communication with one another during the course of a game, either on offense or on defense, is really, really important. That communication can take several forms. It can take a verbal form where we're actually speaking, we're talking to other players and giving them cues, maybe about what we want them to do, where we're not really speaking in long sentences or anything like that, but maybe it's just a word that we throw out there and they pick up on that cue and they will react to that.
Or you're identifying like where other players are on the court,
Yeah.
or if a screen's coming, or if there is an opportunity to take a shot or something like
Right.
that. Or if you're open, there's so many ways to communicate, and communication really makes it so that you are working as a team, not five individuals.
Yeah, and you know, some of that communication is communication with your eyes. You take a situation where you, maybe in the very last game that the Warriors played against the Cavaliers this year, where you saw Curry come down the floor, and he was looking off to his left at the wing. He threw a pass right straight through to Livingston for an easy layup. And then they both did this whole thing. Okay. And what they're really getting at with both of them is that was a visual cue for their success in that particular situation, where they used their eyes to really cue the other person. Here's what's going to happen. Okay.
Okay, what's the next one?
All right. The next one we want to really think about is this: is that everybody that plays basketball is a little different from everybody else. And what we have to do is we have to make room for those individual factors to allow players to exhibit what they do best. Okay, and so one of the things we have to remember that if we have 5 basketball players on the floor, they are not 5 clones of one another. There are some who can jump, there are some who can run, there are some who can shoot, some that can do several things to make the team successful. And so what we have to do is we have to make sure that we have a really a respectful attitude or opinion of other teams on the floor, other members on the floor. If you do not, then you're probably not going to be very successful. When you don't have respect for people, this is when players start chirping at one another, chipping away, because they don't think somebody else is contributing sufficiently as a team member. Maybe they're not playing hard enough. Maybe they're not making the right cuts. Maybe they can't remember the plays, whatever, and then they verbally start throwing little zingers in their direction, and that is counterproductive to teamwork. Okay, and so that's important for us to remember, is that a lot of communication that we have on the floor has to do with just the eyes. Some of it's verbal. Some of it is just the way we use our bodies. Okay, maybe we reach for a pass here and we're signaling that we want the ball to be thrown to us. So there's different ways for us to communicate as we play. And having respect for everybody's little quirks and things like that as they play is really important. Now, if you have somebody who is the team is going north and you've got one person who's going south all the time, then that person needs to either be educated about how they got to play, or they probably should be removed from the floor and somebody else replaces them who can play a more beneficial role. Okay?
Yeah, get with the program.
Get with the program. That's really what it's all about.
All right, is that all of them?
Well, the thing that I think it's real important too for you to be effective as a teammate is this: is that you have to participate and be really good in decision making. Oftentimes, players who get into trouble when they play basketball don't make very solid decisions about what needs to be done. Maybe they're supposed to give the ball to a point guard to initiate, or the wing, let's say, to initiate a play action. But in reality, they throw it into the post, not having any concept of the fact that we're trying to run a motion where we can create a shot for a really good shooter. And so if you aren't on base or on target with that, then what's going to happen is that everything breaks down. We don't get the shot that we want, and probably the ball is going to go the other way down the floor. So decision making and participation in that group setting is really important for 5 different personalities. Now you figure this, that most every team has between 12 and 15 players, and so all of those people have to mesh, and that is really hard for coaches to make happen, because you get a group of people like that of 12 or 15 people, and there's always probably 3 or 4 that are pulling left when everybody else is pulling right. Not maybe on purpose, but because maybe they're not as well as skilled. Maybe they don't understand the game of basketball as well. Whatever the course, some people are just I don't mean to make this sound really unfavorable. Some are just donkeys. That's how they operate, and usually coaches will identify them, and they will get a message. Okay, this is what I expect from you, and if you can't participate on those grounds, then it's see you later time.
Yeah.
And personally as a coach, I've had to take and ask some people to go away because that's who they were. They were being donkeys. And they were not contributing to teamwork. They were contributing to disarray among the players and effectiveness as a team.
Yeah, I think that the big take home of all this is that you have to realize basketball is not a individual sport. And it doesn't matter how great one player is, they will not get it done without the help of everybody else.
And that's the truth. Sometimes we don't think about that, Casey. And players, well, I'm really shooting the ball well, and so I need the ball, I need the ball, I need the ball, And in reality, you want your better shooters to get the ball more often than your weakest shooters, and so you work that way. But some are too demanding, and some of them who really aren't probably very good shooters, they want to have equal status with those who can really shoot, because I know I can make those too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that, it really comes down to creating opportunities, and you're not going to create many opportunities if you're just doing it on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see that all the time when you're watching. Okay, so everybody watches pro basketball. So if you watch a player like Carmelo Anthony and compare that to somebody like, Kevin Durant on the Warriors, you'll see that there's so many more opportunities and good opportunities for Kevin Durant to score than for Carmelo Anthony to score, because Carmelo, he's trying to do everything by himself. He's trying to be the one that is creating the opportunity and creating the conversion of that opportunity. That is not a great way to approach a team game. So if you want to be a player that gets lots of shots, gets lots of good looks, easy shots, you want to work within a team that is kind of going for that together. You're all creating shots. You're all creating opportunities. On defense, you're creating a safety net where you're able to communicate and tell people what's going on. So it's not just a one-on-one situation all the way around. It's 5-on-5, and you guys are trying to shut down what that other team is doing instead of shutting down the individual that you're guarding.
Okay, so kind of the upshot of what we're kind of getting at here with this is this. A basketball team has a goal that they're trying to accomplish every time they go on the floor to play a game, and that is they want to win the game. And the opponent wants to do exactly the same thing. And so one of the things we have to remember to accomplish those goals is we need to work together with communication and a good attitudes. The other thing that we need to do is remember that when we do that, everyone benefits. You might be the last guy on the totem pole when it comes to getting in the game, but you're going to benefit from all of those people working in unison to be a good, solid team. And good, solid teams usually they are very successful as they go through the season.
Watch the team. Again, back to the NBA. If you watch like the Spurs, if you watch the Warriors, if you watch even Cleveland is kind of getting into that flow of stuff. Those are the teams that are consistently able to create opportunities, and they're successful. And it doesn't, it's great that they have great players, but just because you have great players doesn't mean that that's going to convert to chemistry on the court either.
That's really true.
And so you have to all buy into what the team strategy is. You have to buy into what the roles on the team are, and you have to really approach it with communication and know that the guy next to you is just as important that the other guy is, or as important as you are.
Yeah, exactly true. Exactly true.
All right, so are we good on that?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
So
Teamwork is important, and remember, there's no I in teamwork. Okay.
Yeah. But the other thing too is that individual skill development is super important to us. So you guys becoming great players yourself, that's really super important, and that's what you should be training towards. But then when you step onto a team, you want to be the package that works in that team. So individual skill development is initially the super important part, but then being able to work in a team is another skill that you have to develop. Okay. So that's going to do it for our topic on teamwork. We just wanted to talk to you guys about that a little bit.
Well, we actually get that kind of a question quite often because somebody has on their team that won't share the basketball, or they're trying to do all the scoring. And so that's something that everybody on the team needs to be kind of up to speed on.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions on that, let us know, and we'll try to get back into those. But we're going to jump into asking or answering your guys' questions. So if you have questions on anything basketball related, whether it's shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, athletic development, whatever it is, send them our way, and we will try to answer as many of those as we can. If you guys could tell your friends and family to check us out, that is super cool and awesome because that helps us grow Team Shot Science. Maybe you could tag them and tell them that you can take them on, or you can I don't know, maybe we'll shout out people that do that or something like that. We'll do some call outs.
Right.
But we have a question for you guys before we get into that, and it's a question that we ask every week, and it's this:
where are you located in the world?
Yeah, where are you guys from? We are in Santa Cruz, California, which is south of San Francisco, and we want to know if you guys are from let's see, from the UK, if you're from
South America,
if you're from Brazil, if you're from Morocco or
Lithuania.
We want to know where you guys are from. Please let us know.
Hang on, we're not making fun of Lithuania when we say that. It's
no, Lithuania is a huge basketball spot.
They're a huge basketball culture, and we have the greatest respect for them. And so,
but it's the one that we hit every week.
We do, and it's just a little tease more than anything else.
Yeah, see, like we have Alvaro who says that they are from Madrid, Spain.
All right, Madrid.
Awesome.
Right.
So keep sending those in to you guys, and we will shout out people as they come in. Timek Kailinski says they're from Poland.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
I think we did say hey to you before. Okay, so keep sending those in, and we're gonna hit some questions before we get into that. Chris Morrison asks, how do I get more arc?
That's an interesting question and a very easy one to answer. When we're shooting the basketball, we typically want the configuration of our arm to represent what we call the letter L. And we want to take the elbow, okay, and the hand wants to be cocked backwards and ready to go, okay, for the set point. And then to get the arc, what you want to do is elevate your elbow of your shooting arm so that it finishes higher than your eye level. When it finishes higher than your eye level, you're going to generate more arc for that shot, okay?
Yep. Finish high. Elevate the shot. Okay, we got Dovydas, who's from Lithuania.
All right, way to go.
And first name, last name, who's here all the time from Ohio. Cool. Let's see. Gerald Kuzler's asking, what happened to the rest of the crew you used to have? We still have the same crew.
Yeah, the same crew.
This is the live show crew.
This is the Curtis 2 crew.
Yeah. Taj Harris is asking, hey, I want to be like Mike. What do I do? Got to practice and then practice and then practice.
Exactly.
Mark Henson Joseph says, how long have you guys been on YouTube? I think we uploaded our first video like at the end of 2008 or something like that.
I think it was the fall of 2008. That's right.
But, it took us a while to get going, and we've done different things in different places, but we've still stayed on YouTube the whole time.
Yeah.
License to Chill says, how do you get a ball hog to start passing? How do I convince him that I'm wide open?
Well, okay.
We've had discussions about this before.
We have. And, people like that are difficult. And you were talking about the essence of teamwork a while ago. People who are like that don't respect teamwork, and they don't respect team members very well. And it's all about them. That's what we're kind of kidding about, that there's no I, the letter I, in team and teamwork. And so one of the things that's real important is that they have to respect you as a player. I mean, that's really important, that they respect you. And by respect, meaning that you're going to do something worthwhile every time you catch the basketball. Does that mean that you're going to have make a score every time you touch it? No. Respecting you that you're going to take care and the ball is not going to be thrown over to the other team through a bad pass or something like that. And that when you catch the basketball, you can be effective with it. And sometimes it's hard for them to have respect in that situation because well, they don't give you the touches where you can really do that. I mean, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And the other thing, this is under the coach's prerogative, believe me. And the fact is, if you have somebody on your team who's not sharing the basketball, the coach better be taking care of that. Okay? Because what he's telling everybody on the team, if he doesn't take care of it, is the rest of you don't count for him very much. This is the guy who's going to get it done for us. And in reality, when you're playing 5-on-5 and the other teams, your team members decide, hey, well, if he's going to take and do it all himself, why should we put much effort into it? And pretty soon you start slacking on defense.
Yep.
And they're doubling on him, tripling on him, knowing he's not going to want to give the ball up. And so it's a tough situation. One of the things you probably need to do is have a discussion with the coach. Coach, I don't quite understand why Bill doesn't want to give me the basketball when I'm in an open situation. And maybe he'll say, well, listen, I've noticed that too, and I'll talk to him. We'll take care of that. Or he may say, quit being a crybaby and just play. So you have to take and respect whatever he does say to you as the way you have to go. Most coaches are not going to be that contrite about things. They're going to say, I got him.
I think the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is to create space, move without the basketball, make a case for you to have the ball.
Yep.
And that really will shine a light on the fact that that person isn't doing what they should be doing because, if you're just standing there wide open with an opportunity to score, if you are moving, it's one thing to just be standing there and waving your hands. That is not really a case made for you to get the basketball. Right. If you are moving, you're setting screens, you're doing backdoor cuts, you're doing some L cuts and V cuts, you're doing things that are work to get open and to keep your defender on the move. Those are things that really will generate opportunities, and you've made a case to get the ball. That's the kind of stuff too that coaches see, and they're like, what the heck? Why is that guy not giving him the ball? Exactly. He's wide open. He's doing all the work. That other guy is taking really bad opportunities and trying to convert those. That's how you kind of make a case for it. And one of the problems that you can have is if you're having a fit or if you're just standing there waving your hands.
Yeah, that brings up a great point that I think Casey makes there. The fact is that oftentimes other players aren't active enough on the floor. And now, that said, coaches have choreographed plays that they want you to run. And so you have to kind of follow that. But, we call that running on rails. And that's not bad at all, because we do that ourselves. But the thing that is really important is that player know when and how to step off the rails to create an opening where he can catch the ball and maybe make a shot. Okay?
Yep.
And so those are really important things for you to remember.
Okay, we got Oli'i from the UK, who's here all the time. So we're glad that you're here again.
Yeah.
Jefferson, who's from the Queens, New York. So please keep sending us where you guys are from. Let us know what's going on in your part of the world in terms of basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, Taj Harris says, hate teammates, I'll carry the team. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck on never going anywhere.
Well, just think about this. Think about the games in the finals where we've got Cleveland playing the Warriors, and Kyrie Irving has an incredible game. And I think it was like 38 or something like that. I mean, he just was, and nobody could stop him really. And then along comes LeBron, and he gets 30-something. The rest of them don't get much at all, because those two guys were taking control of the basketball. Did you ever really see Kyrie Irving give the ball up much? Not much. He didn't trust anybody. He was going to go get it himself. And the same thing is often true with LeBron. And so two guys try to do all the scoring, and the other three guys are just ancillary. They're on the floor and they're playing defense, but they're not really involved in the game. And so what happened is they got beat. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think a better.
Let me go a little further.
Okay.
In the next game, that would be game 3. In game 4, they played a totally different basketball game. Kyrie Irving still got his 30 plus, whatever it was, and LeBron got his 30 plus. But the other guys got involved in scoring because those two guys were sharing the basketball, okay? And so what happens is that you can be much more effective when you're sharing the basketball with other players and trusting that they're going to take and score, okay?
Yeah, okay. That was probably a goofy comment that somebody said, but it's true. Like, good luck scoring 60 plus points yourself.
Yeah.
Good luck guarding 5 people by yourself.
Exactly.
And then good luck, having your actual teammates be on the same page as you after you try to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Ali is asking, how do I work on explosiveness, strength, so I can drive on people and accelerate quickly? A lot of that comes down to footwork. Working on developing that. If you want to get a good start on that, you can check out like our vertical jump stuff and our athletic training series and things like that. We have some of that here on YouTube. We have the vertical jump handbook, but you can also go to the all access area of shotscience.com, and we have a whole breakdown of stuff in that too. So that's what we would say.
One of the things I want to just kind of throw in to kind of cap that too, and that is the vertical jump program is really constructed and built around the idea of trying to use body weight to increase your vertical jump, okay? But what you find is this, and we kind of discovered it as kind of an after fact, and that is when we're working on explosion for vertical, we're also working on explosion and explosiveness for the vertical. The horizontal plane as well. And so you find that as you become more adept at jumping, you also become more explosive in getting to a different position on the floor, whether it's with or without the basketball. So we think that vertical program is really, really important for helping you in both that explosiveness with the basketball and getting away from people or going by people, and as well as explosiveness to the rim for rebounds.
Well, it's comprehensive approach. It's not just like, hey, go do heavy squats every 2 days. Like that's not a good approach. It's comprehensive in that it addresses all aspects of training your athleticism, which is what your vertical jump is really kind of moving towards, is developing your athleticism. So having an approach that is more comprehensive is better than one that is super kind of just focused on power or strength. Yeah. You got to have the other aspects kind of worked in there as well.
Catch Adam there, Muhammad.
Adam Muhammad says, how do you bounce back after making a terrible play, such as missing a layup or getting blocked? My game always suffers after these plays.
Okay. One of the things that players waste too much time on, and I underline several times the word waste. Not everybody plays a perfect game. You miss layups, you get blocked, you have people take the ball away from you.
Nobody ever plays a perfect game.
Yeah, you don't play a perfect game. And the one thing that I would say to you about that, Adam, is that if you make a mistake, it was yesterday's news.
Yep.
It means nothing today, and you let it go, because all you can do then is tie yourself up in knots because you're worried about the fact that you missed an easy shot. Hey, there's not a player in the world that's not going to miss one of those easy shots, if it's a lay-in even. And so one of the things you do is, like I said, it is yesterday's news. It means nothing today, and we just take and get our act together and keep playing hard. You don't worry about it.
I think a lot of it, when it comes down to athletic performance, people get so caught up in the past and the future that they forget about the fact that you're executing in the present. Yeah. And so if you are worried about the things that you did, 20 seconds ago, 2 minutes ago, yesterday, you've already sabotaged what you're doing now. And if you're worried about the next thing that you're going to do, you've already sabotaged what you're doing now.
Well, you're probably going to screw up again if you're worried too much about it. That's the point.
And then I think there's also, so the take home of that is be a player in the present. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Yeah. It's nothing you have to worry about. The other thing is that there's two kinds of players, really. And there's players that are the ones that are self-defeating when they have a failure, right. And there's players that are self-motivating when there's a failure. Right. Guess which ones are the ones that go on to be great players or even just good players. Yeah. It's not the self-defeating ones, right. Because if you're worried about missing a shot, then you're probably not going to take any, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Well,
and so it doesn't make any sense to worry about the risk that you're taking if you'll never get the reward.
Well, yeah, and here's a typical situation that I see often, and that is maybe the player drives for the basket and he can't finish on the lay-in, and right away he goes into a situation where he slows down. He's beating himself up. Meanwhile, the game is going the other direction, and his other teammates, the four of them, are trying to stave off five of them because he hasn't gotten back into the flow of the game. You have to forget it right now because it's as soon as it happens, it's like I said, it's yesterday's news. It does not count, has no value. Well, let's go.
You can't go into instant replay. You can't fix it. Whatever. And the other thing is that it's like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're not the most important thing on the court. I mean, you're working on a team again. That goes back to the teamwork thing. So get over yourself. If you're worried about doing that and not being able to take the risk of taking a shot or dribbling, maybe basketball isn't for you. Because you have to take a risk. You have to, and why do you care so much? Why does it bother you if you miss something or if you accidentally kick the ball out? Nobody is perfect. So if you draw a bigger spotlight when you throw your pity party, and so.
Well, and fans will get on you when they realize that you're doing that too, and so that in itself is not really very good.
Well, but don't even worry about that. Who cares what anybody else says or thinks or whatever? And if you miss one layup and then you score 5 more, which do you think people are going to sit there and be hung up on the fact that you missed one layup? And even if they are, who are they? You made 5 other ones. So you missed 2 points, but you made 10. So move past it.
Let's go to Timek.
Yep. Timek says, how to be more active in plays.
That's a really good question. And I'm glad you posed that. It's something that we talk about quite often, but one of the things that often happens in play in situations, especially where the coach gives you a lot of freedom in play, where you don't have a lot of choreographed plays and stuff like that. One of the things you want to do is work on back cuts, work on L cuts and V cuts, and you can go to our videos and check those out.
Yeah, that's moving without the basketball.
Yeah, you can flash the middle from the opposite side. I mean, that's always a great move. But the thing is, that's important is don't be too static in one location. And one of the reasons for that, not only do you become less effective as an offensive player, but you help the defense. Let's take, for example, I'm playing on the right wing, and the point guard has got the ball, and I'm standing there calling for the ball and clapping my hands, want the basketball, and my defender now has slacked off of me, and he's now defending on the point guard as well. So because I'm standing still, as soon as I move, let's say that I make a back cut along the baseline and I come out on the other side, he's got to go with me. And as soon as he has to respect me defensively, then what's going to happen is he's not going to be able to help out on the defending another person maybe with the basketball. So movement without the ball is so important in basketball.
Yeah, I think that the take home too on that is you can't really go too crazy when it comes to plays. Like those are typically sets that your coach is going to have set up. So you have to know how to work in that framework, but also it's not good to just run on rails and go from point A to point B and then figure that it's going to play out exactly as you hoped or whatever. You got to be able to work off of those plays too, which is what most coaches want. They want you to be able to go in this motion, but then have options to score and all that along the way. So be aware that it's not just about figuring out, okay, this is how this play is run. It's also about understanding when the scoring opportunities are there and when, I guess my defender is slacking off, I'm going to do a back cut on him right now, and just having those tools ready to go. So you have to learn how to play and then work on plays and then be able to put those two together.
Well, and to tell you the truth of it, most defensive players hate active players.
Yeah.
Because they're always on the move. You're always having to adjust. constantly moving, and you're just hard to play against defensively.
Okay, License to Chill says, what's the best technique for driving to the hole as a tall guy? Don't have much speed, though. Okay, so part of it is that you got to forget about your height. It doesn't matter how tall you are or small you are. Yeah. It really, that doesn't matter. What I would say is you want to have all the right tools in your toolbox. And if you go look at all of our videos on offensive moves and offensive attacks, you'll see that, having a good long 1-and-1, having a jab step, having a ability to use the hammer, having the dribble attacks, those are ways that having a shot fake, those are the things that really make it difficult to guard you. So you don't have to be super speedy to get by people. Right. I mean, you can see that played out with a ton of people in the NBA and stuff like that. I mean, there's not everybody is, the quickest guy, and that's why they got to the basket. So you have to have those techniques kind of polished up and ready to go. You got to learn how to protect the ball with your body and use footwork to really neutralize the defense. Right. I mean,
right. I'm going to take 2 seconds here to mention two things. Number one, when you attack the basket and you're faced up, we're not talking about with your back to the basket, but we're talking about faced up. Okay. When you attack the basket, what you want to do is attack them with a long step. The first step is a long one, and the first dribble is a long one as well. And you want to go hip to hip with that defender. If you step around them and step out to the side so you avoid contact, what's going to happen, that plays in their favor because now they can slide more in front of you and tend to push you toward the boundary line. However, if you take that long step and that long dribble and get contact coming right off of their hip and then using the other technique, which is the hammer, you find that you get to the basket very easy. Go to our videos and check out those things.
Yeah.
Long 1-and-1 and the hammer technique are both of them are really effective.
It's in our offensive moves playlist if you want to check it out in the video below or below the video. And here's the thing too. If you ask me who I would rather take, somebody that is the quickest person or somebody who is the most skilled, I'm going to say the most skilled. Because it doesn't matter how quick you are, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to get the job done.
Right.
So work on those techniques, and maybe you can work on making your quickness and explosiveness and everything something that is part of your game too. That's fine, but work on having those offensive techniques that really kind of level the playing field when it comes to athleticism.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's go.
What about Chessmate there? He's from Hungary.
Chessmate is from Hungary. I saw a couple people in here that were from some other places
Queens,
too.
New York. We saw that.
Okay, let's see. Timex says, in Poland, almost no one cares about basketball. This is sad. Only football, soccer.
Well, you can do something about that.
Yeah.
Start generating your own teams and start getting some leagues going, and you'll find out that people get really engrossed in the game of basketball because it's so fast and so exciting. So take care of that, Timek, and make sure that you get the game started in that country.
Andre Sims is from San Francisco.
All right, Andre.
That's not too far from us. Let's see here. This one is from Kanal, who says, I'm someone who you could say is an anti-ball hog. I let go of the ball too easily. Any suggestions? Yeah. When it comes to being a basketball player, I think you would agree that you have to have the mentality that you have the ball in your hands, you're thinking shot first.
Yes.
Then you're thinking attack next, and you're thinking pass third.
That's the way I would look at it.
And it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, people always are saying, a point guard should always be pass first. That's outdated information. You should always think about shot first, attack, pass.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you overlook somebody that is wide open with a shot that's better than you. If their opportunity is better than your opportunity, give them the ball. Yeah. But if you have an opportunity, you should not give that up just to give up the ball.
Yeah, right.
So you kind of have to have that assassin's, approach to basketball. You're going to take the shot.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean take a bad shot. It means take a good shot, create an opportunity if that shot isn't there, or give the opportunity to somebody that has a better opportunity.
Okay. Tamika's coming back. He's going to do it.
Awesome.
All right.
First name, last name says, I play for my school, and I'm not one to be a ball hog, but my coach says I'm the best on the team, and some of the players say I'm the best on the team, and I should take over more. What should I do? Because it seems like that's when I play best.
Take over.
Sounds like you've been greenlit.
Yeah. If your coach is telling you that he wants you to do more on the offense, he's probably telling everybody else the same thing. This is what we're going to do. This guy here is going to get more opportunities than somebody else. And here's the thing that is really kind of important, is that the coach is not going to recommend that you get 15 shots a game if he doesn't think that you could shoot effectively.
Yeah.
If he thinks that Bill over here, because he can really light it up from the three-point line, I would be telling him too, you guys over here, I want you to take and look to get him the basketball. I want him to get 15 shots a game. If he gets 15 shots a game, and let's say he hits 8 of them, I mean, that's a lot of points, especially if he's getting some three-pointers in there as well. And that's the way teams are built, is that some people on the team are better than others. And the ones that are better at scoring need to have more opportunities. And I don't think it's being a ball hog when you do that. If you're taking the ball and jacking up shots that are poor shots, or if you're taking contested shots where there's 2 people on you, that's being a ball hog. Okay?
Typically, the people that are concerned about being a ball hog are not ball hogs.
Yeah, right.
It's the people that have like no conscience about it are the ones that are the ball hogs.
Exactly. They're only thinking about themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're a ball hog, you're the one that is taking bad shots. Yeah. And that's obvious to pretty much everybody. Okay, this one is from Alvaro, who says, I'm 5'11" power forward, 14 years old, and I have to defend and attack players who are 6'1" or 6'2", and I really struggle. Any tips? That's like 3 inches.
Yeah, that's not much of a difference at all.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that people, again, they get so caught up on height. And it's like, I'm this height and that guy's that height. How will I ever be able to match up or get it? Height is, again, the one thing you have no control over. Yeah. So you need to move past that and understand that you have advantages of your height and your abilities, and that other person has advantages and disadvantages as well. And so being 5'11", going up against people that are 6'2", that's not almost much of a negligible. Yeah.
Well, and not only that, think about it this way: is that you're probably quicker than they are. Learn how to use that quickness and use it to your advantage.
And even if you're not, those, again, like we said before, developing individual skills will be the big level of the playing field.
It really will. And learning how to attack the basket against people like that. If you go to our videos, we have a whole series on how to attack the basket. Okay.
Yeah. And, I remember when I was playing in, like AAU and things like that, and I was probably 5'11", 6 foot, when I was maybe, like a freshman or sophomore or something like that. And we were playing up against guys that were like 6'10" and questionably the age that they said that they were.
Yeah,
but,
right.
What are you going to do? You can't grow taller. You can't do anything. You can't like take those guys out. I mean, you have to play against them. So how do you neutralize that? Your skills and your abilities.
And
you have to outplay people like that. And, height is it's a great attribute if you're able to utilize it, but sometimes people that are that height can't utilize it. So
exactly true.
Take that advantage away from them. Chessmate says, how should I correct my footwork for shooting? I need to turn more.
Well, go to our videos. We could sit here for an hour and talk about how to use your feet. One of the things that is so important about shooting, I went to watch 2 of my students yesterday. I hadn't seen them for a while. And their fathers want to know, what are they doing wrong? And I said, well, what do you mean, what are they doing wrong? Well, they can shoot the three-point shot really pretty good, but the last few games they haven't been able to do that. Okay, in watching both of them, the thing that became very apparent is the fact that they had no footwork in preparation for the shot. They caught the ball, and then after they had the ball, then they would kind of turn, I'm open, and now I'm going to try and shoot it. Each one of them made one. Okay, and the problem with it is this: is that we have a sequence that we teach that is called catch, and address. And in that, the big part of it is how to use our feet as we get ready to shoot the basketball. We're looking for that footwork to create the setup for the shot. We're looking for that footwork to create rhythm for the shot. And so that's important stuff. Usually when you're having difficulty with a shot, if you've got decent stroke mechanics and you're still struggling, it's probably because you don't have any footwork in getting ready to shoot it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If you guys have questions, now would be the time to get them in because we're getting close to the end. Okay. So this one is from Bulldogs, who says, for 13 or 14-year-old boys, what percentage of workout should be on-court skills, jump training, and strength training? Okay. When people ask us questions like that, we have to first tell them we have no idea what that breakdown should be for you. Because
we don't know you.
Every person is different. And so when we talk about this stuff, let's talk about it in very general terms.
Sure.
And maybe I'll take this one over.
Go ahead.
When it comes to the importance of those things that you listed, on-court skills, jump training, and strength training, let me just say that you rank them in the order that I would say that they are important. On-court skills, basketball skills are the most important. You could have no vertical jump.
Right.
You could have not much strength, and your on-court basketball skills will be what carries you to the next level of basketball.
Right.
If you have not very good court skills, you can jump pretty good and you're very strong. You're good luck leveling up on that stuff. So I would say you really want to focus on-court individual skill development. That is the most important thing. Jump training, I think if you put jump training in with athletic training and athletic development, I think that's important too. So spend maybe a little bit of time on that. When it comes to strength training, younger people, not important at all. It becomes important when you become a elite level high school varsity player, maybe. But then when you become a college player, they build in time for you to work on that kind of stuff.
They do.
And then when you're a pro player, again, there is a huge incentive for you to work on that stuff, and you also don't have another job, so that's what you get to do is work on that stuff. But if you're super strong and you can't ball, you're not going to ball. So that's where the importance of on-court individual skills is super important. And I would also say look at the time that you have to work on that stuff. Let's say you have 3 hours a day, and that's probably a lot for somebody that is a student in school that has other responsibilities and stuff. So you have 3 hours a day. How much are you going to attribute to those things? Because strength training takes a good chunk of time to work on every single day.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. It does.
So if you spend an hour and a half a day on strength training, is the return on that going to be as big as if you spent that time working on your individual skill development? I don't think it is. Yeah. So I would say work on your basketball skills, work on a little bit of your jump training and athletic training. Strength training is way down the line. Yeah. So that's a strong opinion of mine.
Strength training sometimes can have very detrimental effects. When you're a young kid. Yeah.
Well, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt and you can get overuse injuries and things like that. But again, individual skills are really how you push it through. Right. This one is from Andres, who says, do you have tips for guarding someone that is eternally faster and a three-point shooter? I usually have to guard the better players on the opposing team, but I always struggle against fast three-point shooters. Number one way to guard somebody like that or anybody is don't let them have the ball in the first place.
Yep, they make it tough for them to catch it.
Yeah.
And then other things we need to probably consider besides that one. And, it used to be years ago when defensive were more aggressive defenses, and you find that some college teams do this even today. Not many, but a few. They're going to deny you the basketball, and what they want to do is they want to make you catch the ball way outside of the three-point line, so that you're further away from the basket and you're not ready to shoot that basketball from there either. The other thing that's really important is try to figure out on the player that you're playing against, which hand do they have the most strength with? Are they a right-hander, can go by you quickly? Are they left-handed and go by you quickly? And what you want to do is force them, when they do catch the basketball, to play with their weakest hand. And don't be afraid to get up on them. One of the things that happens to us is that three-point shooter, we tend to lay off them a little bit. We want to take and get and crowd up into them a little more to force them to have to put the ball on the floor. But forcing them to put the ball on the floor with their weaker of the two hands. And believe it or not, most people have a weak hand. They don't work on it very much because it's not very much fun. There's no immediate rewards like there are when you're shooting, okay? And so that's how we would play them.
Yep. And the other thing is that you should not be a player that reaches. You should not be a player that tries to overdo it once they get the ball. Right. If you play people straight up, it's really going to be a better situation to figure out what to do. Okay, so this one is from Chris Cardona. Says, do you think having small hands is a reason why my ball handling isn't as good as others?
No.
Just being honest. No,
it's not.
We have kids that are literally like 6 and 7 year olds that have really great ball handles, and it's one of those things that you have to you have to work on. Yeah, it's not about the size of your hands or anything like that.
It really is not. And the biggest problem for people who have difficulty with ball skills is they don't spend any time on it. And I have a lot of young players, young players anywhere from 11, 12 to 28, whatnot. And the ones that are younger usually have not worked on their ball skills with both hands. And so in reality, they get the ball taken away when they go with their weak hand. They're afraid to go with either hand because they don't have very good ball skills. And you cannot attribute that to small hands. You can attribute that to the fact that you don't spend any time working on your ball skills. That's what you need to do.
Okay. So I think that's going to do it for us today, you guys. Thank you very much for everything. We appreciate you being here. If we didn't get to your question, it's not because we don't like you. It's because we just ran out of time. Make sure you follow us on all of our stuff, Shot Science related. And you can check us out on shotscience.com where you can get the shirts and gear and stuff. And you can also check out the All Access membership area too.
What's the interest or the
shotscience.com?
Yes.
So check us out there, and we'll see you guys again next time, 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.